It's the L.I.T. podcast. It's the L.I.T. podcast. L.I.T.P.od. 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 L.I.T.P.od.
Hello, my name is Jakayla, and I'm here with my co-host,
Jakayla
and Monte.
Welcome to L.I.TPod podcast. Today we are joined by special guest, Ujima. Hello, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
How was your day?
My day's good so far, enjoying the beautiful weather. How's your day?
Good. Went to Omni and helped some people today.
Awesome. Could we say that again?
We went to Omni and helped some people today.
Oh, that sounds lovely. Did y'all have a good time?
We did. Thanks for
That's
asking.
good to hear. Cool.
First question today is, what's your profession?
My profession, I am an environmental justice educator with Mycelium Youth Network and a part-time student.
How do you like that?
I like it a lot. I love being able to talk to young people about their issues that they're passionate about, especially when it comes to environment, when it comes to climate change, but also get to know y'all and see what kind of cool plants, animals, all the stuff in the world that makes y'all feel happy and really gets your interest. So I love it.
Why do you do what you do?
I do what I do. That's a good question. I do what I do because, as y'all know, climate change is a really big issue. And it's something that has been developing and changing over the course of many, many years. And we're getting to a point where more and more people are aware about, climate change, the things that are happening, ocean levels rising, forest fires. But a lot of people feel really powerless about what they can do about these issues. And so the reason that I do what I do is so that people become more informed about these issues, not only about the issues themselves, but what they can do to make their lives better or make the lives of the people around them better. It's really awesome to connect with organizations that are looking at issues of justice. So y'all might be familiar with the water crisis in Flint. Well, one of the reasons that some of those issues were so widespread, or at least people were able to learn a little bit more about those issues, is because of educators like myself, but also because the youth wanted to know. They wanted to know what was going on. They wanted to know how they could make change. And so I love working and collaborating with young people who have their own ideas, their own, imaginations and their own curiosities about what a better and more healthy and sustainable environment could look like. So I love my job, and that's why I do what I do.
What is the most challenging thing at your job?
That you face?
Yeah.
That I face at my job? What is the most challenging thing that I face? Sometimes we can talk about really heavy issues. I mean, climate change is kind of a scary thing. We are dealing with a lot. We have a lot of big major issues that feel like they're all, weighing on us or coming at us all at once. And sometimes the hardest part about my job is seeing how sad and how frustrated and how worried people get, because they do feel powerless sometimes. But that's, again, why we work together and we come together and we collaborate. We can hold each other during the sad times, and we can also uplift each other during the victories. So I know that's a little bit of a cop-out answer, but it does really hurt my heart, and it makes me sad, and it's a hard thing about my job, just seeing how upset people are about climate change and environmental issues.
Thank you.
Who supports you the most?
Who supports me the most? Oh, that's a really good question. I would have to say my mom. My mom has always been a big advocate for me. Like, she always prioritized education. She's really happy. And even though she doesn't like 100% understand what I do all the time, she's a huge supporter of my passion about environmental issues. And she always wants to learn more. She's always sending me articles like, have you seen this? Have you read this? And she, in like her own process, in her own way, is trying to learn more. And I thank her so much for that.
Do you ever think someone else will be your supporter?
Absolutely. I think my mom is definitely my top supporter, but I have so many people I'm very blessed. I have a lot of people in my circle. I feel like my young people help support me. I mean, like, I can't have a class without y'all. So I consider y'all like supporters. I consider my coworkers, my boss Lil, Marilyn, who y'all spoke to a little bit earlier. They're my supporters. I have really great friends. I think friendship is super dope. We support each other. And so I see a lot of different people in my life supporting me in different ways.
How do you like that? How do you feel about it?
It feels awesome. I wish everybody could have that. Like, imagine if you had like a team behind you. Like, let me think. So one thing that I feel like people don't realize is these really big celebrities. Like, take Cardi B, for example. You think Cardi B like writes her own raps? You think she like she does write most of her own raps? Let me not say that before they come for me. But do you think that she does her own choreography, does her own makeup, does her own costume designs? No, she has a whole team behind her that's supporting her and that's pushing her forward. She got people who are booking the flights, people who are making the concert venue arrangements. Imagine if everybody had that kind of support, if we were able to give that kind of support to everybody, how far we could go and all the different things we could achieve, not just individually, but as a collective.
What inspires your work?
What inspires my work? I love nature. I think nature is so cool. I love flowers. I love gardening. I love working with the earth. I love learning about different kind of insects and amphibians, lizards and frogs. And so the earth and the world really inspires me. Like, I do the work that I do because I look around and I see how beautiful things are, even in like a city environment where sometimes people are like, oh, there's nothing beautiful here. Like it took a whole bunch of humans to build that building. It took a whole bunch of humans to make these streets. Like, the world inspires me. And that's something that not only I want to protect, but I also want young people to feel like they have a say in what their environment, what nature, and what like their cityscapes looks like. So being able to preserve that so that young people are able to enjoy and reap all of the benefits. Sorry, I live in a little bit of a loud neighborhood, so hopefully y'all can cut. I don't know if y'all hear that. Let me move because they blasted music. But that's what inspires me. The world around me and just like wanting young people to be able to experience all of it and have influence themselves.
What do you mean by the world kind of inspires you?
So I love to go on walks. I have a really nice pathway by my house. And I'm very much that weirdo where if I see like a flower that I like, I will stop for 10 minutes and just look at that flower and think about, well, what are all the different elements that allow this flower to exist? What about the soil? What about the grass around it? What person planted this flower? Did this flower come here through like natural occurrences? Like, did a seed, did pollen like travel on an animal's fur, or was this hand planted by someone? And so I'm really inspired by all of the different processes and the different like interconnectedness that goes into producing one flower. Like, to me, that's marvelous and that's magical. And I wish that people would have the time and the ability to really like sit in nature or sit outside and feel comfortable and safe in doing so, to take in all of the beautiful and amazing things this world has to offer us.
Oh, okay. How long have you been doing your job?
So my job at mycelium, actually, I haven't been doing it very long. I've been with Mycelium since January of this year, but I've been an environmental educator in other situations, through other organizations. I did a lot of stuff in my undergrad when I was in college, even when I was in graduate school, I was doing a lot of environmental education. And so I've been doing it kind of like on and off, I would say maybe since 2015. So that's about 6 years. But Mycelium, I've only been around for a few months.
Okay. Well, the place that you work at now, you think you'll try to stay there till you can't, like, you're not able to work anymore, or?
Absolutely. I love Mycelium. I think it's a really cool organization. It's one of the few organizations that really focuses on preparing young people for climate change. And that's really unique. And you don't see that a lot. And so I think Mycelium is a very special and a very unique organization. And as long as they want me around, I'll be there.
What is your summer plans?
My summer plans. Well, I'm still working with Mycelium. I'm not going to be teaching as much, but I am going to be help writing curricula. So, I'm not going to be in the classroom, but I'm going to be a little bit behind the scenes, making sure that the lesson planning goes smoothly. I'm also going to be running Dungeons and Dragons. So if any of y'all are gamers and y'all want to get a little bit into Dungeons and environmental climate, theme Dungeons and Dragons, let me know. I'm going to be running an example of that. And this summer, I'm just trying to enjoy it being warm again. I live on the East Coast. I live in Connecticut, and it was a snowy winter. So I'm just loving the sunshine and trying to soak up as much of it as I can.
What are your goals for life, basically?
For life? Oh, y'all asked some good questions. That's a big one. My goal for life. I think I would sum it up as I want to have a garden, and I want to be able to write poems and books and nonfiction, and I want people to be able to come over to my garden and sit and have a cup of tea and us be in community with each other. I want people to feel like they have a space to go and something that makes them feel held, something that makes them feel like they belong there. Black folks especially. I love to see Black folks getting back into nature. I love being a part of that. And so as long as I can do that, that's my goal in life, making sure that Black folks feel happy and held and safe and healthy in nature.
About the garden, what are you growing in your garden right now?
What am I growing in my garden right now? Right now, I'm in a tiny apartment, so I'm not growing anything in a garden, but I do have my house plants. I have my mint, I have parsley, I have a basil plant that's struggling a little bit right now, and hopefully when I move, I'm going to start with potatoes, just because, very hardy, and very I won't say easy, but like a very, manageable growing cycle. And then I also want to plant some beets, and I love me some collard greens. So I'm going to make sure I also get some collard greens in that garden too.
Well, we ran out of questions, and that has been the L.I.T. podcast.
Yes, it has. And thank you for being with us today.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You've been hit by the L.I.T. podcast.